My name is Beatriz Luna. I am from Santiago, Chile, and I came to Pittsburgh to pursue my studies and my intellectual aspirations, but also to find a community where I felt that I belonged, which I did. I came here to study psychology. I was 25, and I got connected to the music and art scene, and I fell in love with Pittsburgh. In the 80s, it was in the midst of the punk revolution, and there was so much going on. We didn't need much. I had roommates. Every house had a name. Every house would have parties, and you could just walk to everyone's house. And I feel like Pittsburgh, in its essence, is a very friendly place. And I feel like people really take care of each other. My neighbor is constantly going, hey, I made extra lasagna, you want some? I'm like, okay. You know, I grew extra vegetables, do you want some? Of course. And I really do like that about Pittsburgh. For the most part, people have what they call like that middle America niceness to them. I'm a professor at the University of Pittsburgh in the Department of Psychiatry. I study adolescent brain development, so I have a laboratory with about 16 individuals. My research is about understanding what are the changes in the brain that lead to you becoming an adult. And by understanding that, we're hoping to understand why people get mental illness. That's what led to this Presidential Early Career Award in Science and Engineering, where I had to go to the White House. And it was a great award because it allowed me to advance my science at a much more rapid pace, and it's a great recognition. White men have done a lot for science, and they still are. They're going like this, advancing science. Guess what? I'm a Hispanic woman. I'm coming from here, from a place that you guys haven't even thought about. And I'm bringing completely new ideas that will really jump science to the new place. In my field, diversity brings new thinking. The human race has survived because of its adaptability and flexibility. If we only have these, behaviors and these ways of thinking, it makes us very rigid. We are bringing new thinking. We're bringing this nuances in culture that can enrich the society that you have here. I see it when with all my American friends. I married an American man, and we came from different cultures, but when we look back, we had a very similar upbringing in life. We had very similar experiences. I think that's how we need to think about it. And I know it's difficult. You see someone who looks a little bit different, you assume that they're different, but we're not. We want the same things. I really think that humans have a certain number of feelings and experiences. We all have the same. We all cry at some point. We all feel lonely sometimes. We all feel deep love. We all want to be happy. That's the same. It doesn't matter what we look like. That is the same for everybody. Chile was great. The family that goes on forever, the friends that you've known since your childhood. There were many positive aspects to it, but there were also some limitations that I really felt, especially being a woman and some of the expectations in the 70s and 80s for a woman. And also the other thing that still is something that shocks me a little bit when I'm in Chile is the class system. So we were maybe upper middle class, we went to a very fancy school, and the connections between the other classes were very obvious. And you can live isolated in Chile and not know. I remember I was like 12 or something. I went to this mountain hill in the middle of the city, and we're looking at everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's that whole area of the city? What is that? Oh, that's where the poorer people live. And I'm like, what? It's much bigger than the other part. So those things have often struck me. I do miss my mother and my family and my brother and so forth, but I can't say that I have regrets. I never returned back to Chile because I felt that I found a place that really accepted me with all my idiosyncrasies, all my crazy thoughts, and I didn't feel that I had that. in Chile, I mean, it was full of love and greatness, and people were wonderful to me, but I just felt it wasn't my place. Intellectually and socially, I didn't feel like there was a place there for me. What I would like to see in the future is that we're connecting as human beings, that we're not connecting by identifying people in certain groups. Those things are just separating us. I have a society of developmental cognitive neuroscience, and one of the tasks that we've asked our members to do is to think of ways to start teaching kids at a very young age to be thinking about the community as a whole and how it is not right to be separating people into groups. I think if you're very young and you have that exposure, then it'll just be natural for you not to be thinking in a separatist and a racist type of way. Uno llega acá, es diferente, hay un shock, pero vale la pena poder adaptarse. Y no solamente, no te quedes solamente en tu núcleo hispano. Es bueno tener esas relaciones, pero dale oportunidad a conocer a los americanos. Hay mucha gente buena acá. What I've learned from coming all the way from Chile to now being in Pittsburgh is that there's a lot of strength and value in following your own path. I mean, when I first came to Pittsburgh, those first few months, I wanted to leave almost every day. I would call my dad crying, and he would say, give it one more day. Give it one more week. If you don't like it, I'll come and pick you up. Give it another week. Little by little, and then when I started to meet the people and find my own way, it was worth it. It was worth it. I had a little bit of suffering. So I think that's something that I've learned, that it's important in life to have these difficult times, and then it's your own. And I do feel like I'm away from my family in Chile, and this is mine, and I've built it myself. So there's a lot of gratification in that.